can't share it because I can share it over here because that is. Good morning, Facebook. Hey, guys, you know, once you get started, you got to get started. So let me jump over here. And oh my God, Facebook Live does a lot. Let me see. I want to jump over here and get this shared. It's This Ain't That Book Club Wednesday. And we're going to go back and we're going to revisit one of our selections. So do come in, say something on the screen. Let me know you do have sight and sound and we do have a good connection because I did check. And then I'm going to invite some people in and we'll get started. So I'm going to do that on my desktop here. I'm going to go ahead and share this because I want to get this over to This Ain't That Book Club. Has a page, has a Facebook page if you want to keep up with all of the selections that we've read. I'm not in the kitchen. In fact, my daughter's going to hook me up some, like I said, but she's going to hook me up some avocado toast because she's over there eating a blueberry waffle. And then I'm going to have, later on, I'm going to make me another juice. That grapefruit, what was it? Grapefruit, what did I make yesterday? Let me see, I'm going to put this also on DryerBuzz page. Okay, so all of these things you have to do, and this is where live stream, when live stream first came out, the first generation of live stream came out, it was easy to do all of this prep stuff before you went live. The mobile versions of live, hey Dad, the mobile versions of live now, you have to do all this once you go live. So, you know, the beginning of your video is like you all over the place. And I like this filter. I like starting on this filter, but I'm going to go ahead and switch it back over to our just regular filter there so I can say good morning to everybody. This was a stretch, y'all. Getting up, getting dressed, and getting on this camera with you guys. I was going to do breakfast with DryerBuzz, and I remember it was Wednesday. And we need to get back to This Ain't That Book Club. And if you did not... daughter's in the kitchen. Let me get my shot together there. If you did not follow along with us this summer, over the summer we did, during our summer hiatus, we did, hey Shannon, my California girl, over the summer we did a book club. And we just basically went into a couple of bookstores, ended up with several bookstores actually, and we would go in and we would select, I would live stream what was on the shelf. We pick a book and we read it. One of those books was this big old book right here, which is Kevin Hart. And I'm going to revisit this book today. We're going to talk about why Kevin Hart's heart ain't in it. Because I'm watching everybody and everybody in their feelings about this infidelity, right? And everybody wants to take sides, you know, the first wife and the second wife. Everybody talking about karma. One of the posts I did the other day, I said, you know, people love talking about karma, but you never see people post. I've never seen anybody post, you know, karma ate my ass up yesterday. Because you're doing just as much dirt too, right? We all doing stuff. And a couple of people were brave enough, maybe one person was brave enough to join me in that conversation and say, well, you know what? Sometimes when bad things happen to me, I do kind of think it's karma and I look back to see if I've done anything. I'm only one person. And it's like, y'all, we have got to stop. We just got to keep this thing human. And I talked about that the other day when I was on my walk. We got to keep it human. And I know I'm that kind of person because my granddad used to say all the time, what goes around comes around. Because he had a whole bunch of grandkids. And so he would be like, the one way he kind of kept us all in line was with that fear factor. Because when things would happen, he would say, you know, what goes around comes around. So if something's going on with you, what did you do? And so we would always make sure. I mean, I guess that's how he kept us from destroying each other and from, you know, because people stab each other in the back and all that. And we just didn't do that. We were a very close-knit family. You got a chance to witness my family for what we had 2 losses in the last 2 months. And so, you know, 3 actually. Y'all don't take me down that road. Okay, anyway. But my grandfather wanted a way to keep all of his grandkids in line because we were all at my grandparents' house. We got out of school. We went to grandparents' house. We all went to school in my grandparents' neighborhood. And our parents would then pick us up and, you know, at the end of the day and all this kind of stuff, you know. So when you got a house full of grandkids to keep them from destroying each other, he had this thing about what goes around comes around. So you didn't want something bad to happen to you. You didn't do anything to anybody else. And I think a lot of us still live to that model today. But look at me on the screen there. So what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about Kevin Hart. And we're going to try to understand what's going on. Because you know me, I got to have the logic. I can't just deal with the emotion. I've never been a person and I get in my feelings, but I've just never been able to live there. I have to find the logical thing that's going on. And Kevin Hart kind of spelled it out right here. Can't make this up, y'all. He called the book, I Can't Make This Up. And it's a big old book. So you got to know Kevin Hart told us everything. And when we read this one as one of our summer selections, it's a hilariously funny book. But in the book, he talks about the relationship with the first wife. And well before she became the first wife. So I want to go back to this because it really, yeah, me too. That's a very religious Christian concept as well. Exactly. And my grandfather was very religious. Let's see. Sandy, hey Sandy, Rachel. Let's see. And it's telling me you guys can go live with me. Anybody wants to go live. Leonard, bring Tamika Tamika Marson, you can go on camera as well. I can't read as fast as you. But you know what? Here's the trick to reading these books. A lot of people are using the audio version, and especially like on the business side of books. Hey, here's my basket of books right here. You guys know I keep 27 answers in there. I've got Zakia's soap maker's book in there. Even though it's about soap makers, she gives us a lot of ingredients for success, and we read a little bit from her book. Here is the original version of my book. If you have that one, you want to hold on to it. And then, of course, one of our selection was Present Over Perfect, trying to keep us to be present. And here is my avocado toast, which I'm going to have for breakfast. And then, of course, the Entrepreneur Mind, which I put in the basket because it has 100 essential beliefs, characteristics, and habits of elite entrepreneurs. And this is by Kevin D. Johnson. And if you're in Atlanta, then, of course, you know Kevin D. Johnson. And then, of course, Getting the Word Out, How to Market Your Ministry, second edition. This is a signed copy from Bonnie Jackson Ransom. If you don't know who that is, get out of Atlanta. Leave now. You are revoked. You got to know who she is. Google her if you don't. And then, of course, Victorious, which is by the late Dr. Charles H. Jackson. I did one of his final interviews. He was also battling cancer. And then, of course, I have in the basket, The Woman Code by Sophia A. Nelson. All of these books are signed. They're basically from interviews that I've done. And we went through a basket of books as we were redoing the bookshelves. And we went through a crate of books to come up with the basket of books that I want to keep on the desk because as I'm working, I reach over there and I gather that. And sometimes I have to go back and read my own book. Because, you know, brilliant people, we have so much knowledge, we have to go back and revisit it. But anyway, let me take this back up so I don't miss any comments. Okay, so over the summer, when I took the summer hiatus, you guys now know what I was dealing with during that summer and why I needed to just kind of shut it down and just be everything I could be for my mother. But during that time, I was like, well, maybe we can read. And I started reading, and of course, I'm live streaming. So we made it a full-on book club, but we decided to call it This Ain't That Book Club because we ain't reading a book from cover to cover. That's a big old book. But we wanted to explore things that were on the shelf, and also we called it This Ain't That Book Club because we also watch DVDs and we listen to music because we explored a number of different mediums. We met authors, we met narrators, illustrators, all of that. It went well beyond just the author. This book was so funny, but it was so telling. I love books that are written by men because, ladies, the language of men is what we need to understand. And you know, language of men is something we blog about at DryerBuzz. We also have language of men. I do a live stream where I put brothers in front of the camera. We throw 1 or 2 questions at them, and they let us have it. Not let us have it in the greatest debate sense or a bashing sense, but just let men talk. You know, and I found that to be very successful over the past 20 years that I've been doing what I'm doing. And I still will do it. And I got one coming up for you. And we're going to host Language to Men. It will be hosted at the Cynical. They don't know it yet, but they know it now. But I already told them, I was like, whoa, did y'all see that picture I posted of my ministers? I'm like, wait a minute, that's a good stream corner y'all sitting in. So I'm like, I got to come back and do that. And so, yes, we are going to do the Language of Men at the Cynical. I guess you gotta pick a time. Pick a time. And it'll probably be, gotta find, I don't know. It's coming though. Because you know me, it's coming. So people, we're gonna go back to read, we're gonna read in Kevin's words why Kevin Hart's heart ain't in it. Why Kevin Hart's heart ain't in it. Because the man has one goal, y'all. He has one goal. So all this other stuff, it's got to play into that one goal. We don't know. I mean, look at George Clooney. George Clooney went through woman after woman after woman. All these women, they love being on George Clooney's arm. They love, going to all these amazing places, quote unquote, living with George Clooney. But then he met that one woman. That one woman was like, no, I have to have it this way, and this is the way it's going to be. And George was like, okay. No more Playboy. The man over there, old as hell with twins, got blue babies. I call them blue babies when you have to take them pills to make them babies. But anyway, George Clooney now got twins, and a woman, she wasn't a supermodel, this, that, and the other, So, and men like to say sowing their wild. I don't know who gives men that thing about sowing their wild oats, whatever. No, it's just about what you demand. I want people to stop acting like Kevin and Tori had, and I don't know if I still can't pronounce that woman's name because they spell it so weird. Good morning, Bobby. I want people to stop wishing them back together because he was hell for her. The man was, and I said the boy because they were young lovers, right? They never had I don't think they ever had a good moment. In Kevin Hart's words, stop wishing that they would get back together because when they were together, they had the relationship where you know how you have that one couple in the family you don't ever want them to come around because you can't say nothing to him, you can't say nothing to her, or him and her, whatever it is, because any little thing gonna set it off for them. And we have friends like that, and I'm like, and I want to do stuff, and that one I want to come, and they're gonna bring the other person, and you like, dang, and then you like walking on eggshells because the minute you say something, they don't have any kind of memories together, and then they get mad at each other, and then it just tears up your whole day, and then they're going home and fight, right? All night, and then they're gonna call you, did you say, I ain't in it? Okay, I don't know what I said. I don't know what y'all got mad about. Don't tell me secrets. I hate when people try to elicit me in a secret. I'm a blogger. I don't hold secrets. Well, I do. It's a lot of stuff I know about folks I never blog about, but out of respect, okay? And a lot of stuff I never would blog. My mother was like, you can't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that on your blog. Don't do that on your blog. But she ain't hit them up. I'm just saying, no, but I'm one of those girls. I just never want to embarrass my mother, so I just wasn't gonna do that. Or my dad. I mean, that's just the way we are in our family. We're just not gonna embarrass each other. So, but anyway, Kevin Hart ain't cut from the same cloth that I am. So, and if you read this book, he ain't got the matriarch and the patriarch and all of those things. Kevin's wife's, look, which one? Need to put all of his favorite things on the highest possible Bobby Jones, you're wrong. Did you see what she said? She said Kevin's wife needs to put all of his favorite things on the highest possible shelf. I just need to end the broadcast right there. And don't think she ain't thought about that. She probably over there like this. Hold. Okay, wait. And see, I read that like it was about to be, ooh, girl. Okay, the one woman show, Bobby Jones, is coming soon. We need to book her. Now booking Bobby Jones. I can't make this up. Wow, she killed it right there. One line, one punchline. She said I'll be here all week. Okay, so basically what we want to talk about, why Kevin Hart's heart not in it. Did anybody on the stream read the book? Has anybody bought this book and purchased the book, read the book, borrowed the book, read any of it? Oh my God, girl, that was hilarious. The highest possible. Can you imagine Kevin Hart coming home and looking for all of his stuff and it's like way up in the ceiling? And he got to call one of the bodyguards. All right, what I loved about the book, and let's talk about this. One of the things that we've been talking about with a number of people is the monster in the genius. Now that came out of Pearl Clegg has a book, Mad at Miles, and Mad at Miles is a nice little small book, but it talks about men and relationships and how Miles Davis was this genius musician, and she wrote it on the basis of the abusive relationship that he had with Cicely Tyson. And so, but at the same time, we relived that story over and over and over. R. Kelly, which will get Leonard all up in his feelings, so let's not talk about R. Kelly. But R. Kelly, musical genius, but yet, you got these things going on that we just can't make out, can't tell. It's a blurred line as to whether or not he's breaking the law or not, okay? Bill Cosby, and again, I'm mentioning African-American men because that's pretty much what I know. I'm not going to do the comparison because, they face a different thing, and we hold them to a different standard. And then it goes on down to Chris Brown, whether or not to continue to enjoy their genius and try to understand who they are as humans and what are our standards for these people. Kevin, one of the things that Kevin Hart always talked about was he always felt like he had a sense of urgency to get it all in because one day it's going to come to an end. He always felt like one day the movie office is going to stop coming. He's going to stop. That's one of the things he wrote the book. He was always trying to build and get to a point where if something happened or if you found out something or if you heard something or if he fell off, that he would still be able to live the lifestyle that he wanted to live. But again, the man has one goal. Everybody pretty much has one goal, and all these other things fall in place. Like my one goal today was to wake up, get it together, and get on live stream to talk about why Kevin Hart's heart not in it. I needed some avocado toast in the meantime. I need all this other stuff. I got to be done in time enough to get her. She's going to give me a 5-minute warning. We're going to run out the door. So he says, what I loved about this book, The Genius and the Monster, we have got to decide what are the lines that we're going to cross when it comes to supporting the genius and the monster. Another genius and the monster, what's the guy that played Iron Man? Robert Downey Jr. Remember, he had his illnesses, disease and drugs, and finally got to his breaking point where he became better. But at the same time, again, an amazingly talented person. Is there something about being amazingly talented that you cannot fix the other parts of yourself? Can you not be a whole person? Can we not be whole people? There are failures that I have. While I am amazingly, wildly successful and brilliant at marketing and advertising, there are other areas in life that have probably suffered. And you guys don't have to touch the phone here to get it plugged up. That was a battery warning. And I hate having to do this because I know it sounds awful. Okay. Try to do it as fast as possible. So can we not be whole people? Can we not be whole, healthy people when you have a bit of genius, when you have a talent or a gift? Because what happens is if you're not nurturing a talent or a gift, and when you have to put that talent or gift to the side, there's almost like an ache. What does talent feel like? What does it feel like to know something or to be right about something? How many of you have been right about something and you can't convince another person? It's a feeling. It's a feeling that you have. And when you can't do that thing that you love, using selfie mode shows items you hold up. Okay, but I got Robert Johnson. That is your pet peeve. Robert Johnson comes in everybody's. Robert Johnson, that is your pet peeve. Okay. So, I mean, it's Robert's pet peeve, y'all. But I have to use selfie mode. Otherwise, I would have to then divert my attention away to look at the comments, right? I'd be like this all the time trying to read the comments. So Robert Johnson, you're just gonna have to get it. But when I do make these videos on YouTube, YouTube does give you a mirror image. Okay. Anyway, understand, people, it's Kevin Hart's book. Robert Johnson. Oh, Robert Johnson. That's his pet peeve, y'all, in live streaming. I'm sorry. But anyway, okay, so how do we decide? One, can we behold people, or can we support the monster, the genius with the monster and the genius? And that just means that something's not going to be right. Wildly talented people will also have characteristics that we don't like, can't understand, can't apply logic. Some of them may blur the lines or break laws, okay? Doing drugs, that is breaking the laws. People who might be wildly talented in music and may also be allegedly be a pedophile. Let that process happen. Let's find out, okay? Genius and mental health issues. Oh, we got Bobby Jones on here. She can help us out with these issues are highly correlated. Right, just like the Georgia Tech student. You know, they said they took their son. The son took a summer off, you know, knowing that he was probably at some type of breaking point. But we have a police system that cannot truly help us with being called to mental health issues. And we've had several cases where they have been called to mental health issues, and their instinct is to act on their threat levels, and we all know those threat levels that police feel are highly skewed. So, you know, now we have this situation that's going to forever be a part of Atlanta history happening on Georgia Tech campus. Georgia Tech student was a sad scenario. Cops are too reactive with fatal force. Exactly. But we have got to figure out, and it's been some talk about maybe there's some other kind of unit that gets called first. You know, maybe calling in the paramedic. I don't know. I know here in our county now, they have spent time educating a part of the force on how to deal with that, mainly because Alzheimer's is really where when Alzheimer's patients go into those types of rage or depressions or different states, there's funding now for police to be trained in dealing with those, and they come with a more sympathetic approach as opposed to police protection. And a lot of times those that are trained can come in and handle and deal with that person better than the family member, because usually that person, if it was suicide by cop, exactly, the minute he was saying shoot me, you knew what it was. But yet what happens with police is almost like they don't like stop. Get somebody else. You know, we have a hostage negotiator, but we don't have a negotiator on that level. And there needs to be, you know, no matter where these incidents happens, you're close to a hospital. Why isn't there something in play where you now get somebody over there from that hospital to deal with that situation? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can get a hostage negotiator on the scene, you can get some medical staff on that scene. And when they roll up, they should be able to assess, okay, this is that situation. We need somebody in that profession to come and negotiate with us, and let's not draw our weapons, right? Because that just took it to a whole nother level. So, all right, I'm running out of time. Okay, I wanted to read Kevin Hart's book. I want to read this part about him and Tori. Let me see. It's broken up in what he calls life lessons, and it's his life lessons from Dad. Don't do what I do. Do what I would tell you to do if I wasn't doing that stupid stuff I did. That's his dad. Life lessons from Mom. Hard lessons are only hard to the weak who can't survive them and me. Life lessons from school. No matter what you may think, education is important and you need it, and you can't succeed without it unless you're talented and intelligent and figure out another path. Life lessons from work. Life lessons from passion. I'm trying to get to one. Let's see. The grind, apprenticeship, transition, obstacles, loss. Oh, let me see. I hoped I had marked the place about the relationship. Let me see. I want to really get to the part of talking about his relationship. I'm looking. Where he was talking about the first. I mean, he even has a chapter called Rise of the Bastard. I was going to call the one My Genius Finally Gets My Genius Finally Gets Recognized, but the chapter before last had the word genius in it. He's so funny. Wait a minute. Let me see. Wait. I got to find it, y'all. Dang. That's from work. Okay, wait a minute now. See, now I'm mad because I could have sworn I marked it. Hold on. Dang it. Look, here go one right here. That one time I got caught cheating without actually cheating. There's a chapter in the book. Oh, and this one is, let's say, the first time I saw how powerful the media's influence on my life could be was when I took Eniko to a Lakers game. The next day, there were photos online of us holding hands with headlines like "Caught Creeping," married comedian Kevin Hart brought his jump off to last night's Laker game. My name had been on TMZ. I'd never been someone who gossip sites were interested in. I was still so small time that some of those headlines spelled my name, Kevin Heat. The instant the story broke, Tori was on the phone. I can't believe you would do this to me, huh? How dare you humiliate me like that? Tori, we're separated. The only contact we've had for over a year is about our kids. Do you really think I'm not doing anything? And if I am, that's not information I need to report to you or anyone else. It was the first time I actually had solid moral ground to stand on with her. Tori, however, felt otherwise. She became malicious in a public way that I'd never experienced before. She attacked me and Eniko on social media, on the radio, on E! News. She seemed angrier over this than she'd been about the girl with the snake tattoo. And in a way, it was understandable because at this level, our private humiliations were becoming public ones. This was the downside to fame that I'd wanted, but I never wanted to be famous as a human being. I wanted to be famous as a human doing. I wanted my shows to sell out, my movies to top the box office, my television shows to get good ratings. I wanted to build on these opportunities to do more and leave my mark on the world through my accomplishments, not my personal life. Remember I said Kevin Hart has one goal and his heart ain't in it. When I had that thought, I start to laugh. Look at what people make important. Why does anyone give a shit about some comedian's relationship status? If they have nothing better to do, let them talk. I'm going to make the choices that serve my happiness, not their expectations, and that's all that matters. Can't make this up, y'all. I soon got to the point where I could shoulder shrug it. In fact, the whole situation ended up helping Eniko's and my relationship. When Eniko was dragged into the spotlight and websites were calling her a homewrecker, while strangers online called her a bitch, I got to see what her character was made of. Though it was tough for Eniko to deal with, she didn't freak out, accuse me of running her life, or take it out on me in any way. She just told me how she felt about it and that it was hurtful, upsetting, overwhelming, and asked for advice on how to deal with it. Let's see. It all comes together. The invasion into a personal life comes with the fame, especially when you make public apologies. You could have been directed to your family only. Exactly. Well, are they wrong or right about you? I ask. they're so wrong, then it doesn't matter. You ready? Okay. We're together, we're smiling, we're happy, and we'll continue to shine because good things grow out of happiness. What do I do about all the emails I'm getting from the media? Ignore them. Anything you tell them, they'll blow it out of proportion to keep the story going. Stay cool and take the high road. The lies will fade. The truth lasts forever. She nodded, smiled, and squeezed my hand. You're right. Why should what's outside have an effect on what's inside? I like the bubble we're in, and I'm not letting anyone burst it. Back when I was going to dancing with Spank, getting lucky meant taking someone home that night. In this moment, I learned what getting lucky really was. Not long after, I asked Iniko to move in so we could be closer and she could begin a relationship with my kids. Despite all the drama, I never turned my back on Tori, even when things got ugly. I still remembered that she had stayed with me through the hardest times, supporting me when I needed it most. I went into divorce court saying that I was a high-income earner. Despite whatever my attorney said in the filings, the court should give her whatever it saw fit. When the decision was made, I didn't argue, I didn't debate, I just said, okay, Your Honor. I don't know why it took me so long to go through with the divorce. I guess I hadn't expected to fall in love again. So that's just one incident. And this is why I got to run. But if you guys have the book, if you haven't read the book, go get the book and kind of understand why Kevin Hart's heart ain't in it. Now, that same thing he talked about with Tori right there, he now has to explain to Nico. But, you know, she walked in it knowing that this man was not good in relationships. And I wish I could find the other part. But y'all have got to check out some of the stuff they've been through. Like, her parents tried to keep her, Tori's parents tried to keep her away from him because, I mean, he was a young guy trying to get up on the comedian scene. People keep wondering why he keep buying Tori cars because he wrecked all her cars. I mean, he just did. They were young people. They used to fight, argue. Police used to come. And I'm not laughing about it because I'm not laughing at the fact that it was a. I'm laughing because the man is a comedian and the way he tells the stories. But I definitely got to run. So, but we'll come back and we'll talk about it a little bit more as this goes on. Stop wishing Tori was still had her husband because he really was never really a husband to her. He has one goal. And that one goal is to be the comedic genius, and all the other stuff just kind of plays along. I mean, that's just the bottom line with it. But it is a good read. And we read this one, Trevor Noah and Charlamagne Tha God. One of the reasons we read those 3 books, because they were 3 books by black men who have mastered media. Kevin has mastered film. Trevor Noah has mastered television. Charlamagne has mastered radio. And those are the 3 mediums where black men have pretty much the worst reputation. So to have 3 black men that have mastered, and I wish I could put them all in sight right now, but people are reading. Actually, Trevor Noah, I sent with my son. My daughter is reading Charlamagne's book, or has read it already. And then, of course, Kevin Hart is still here with me. If you ever stop by, you can always walk out with a book. For every occasion, please buy somebody a book. For every occasion, buy kids a basket of books. Make sure your children fall in love with literature. There's many sides to a story. No, there's only one side to a story, and that is the facts. There's many experiences to those facts, okay? But facts are facts, and those are the stories, and make sure that you are reading them in any kind of version. This ain't that book club. We don't read a book from cover to cover, put it on the shelf, and we bring it down every now and then and get something good out of it. Good job, Kevin. Good book, but understand, everybody's heart ain't in it. Everybody's heart ain't in it, and that's just what it is. All right, I can't make this stuff up. But check it out. I'll sit it over here. We'll come back. We'll talk about it this week on This Ain't That Book Club, revisiting one of our summer selections, and we'll talk because it's in the news. All right, hey, listen. If you are in Atlanta, if you're coming to Atlanta on the first Saturdays, you can join me for breakfast. I am taking over the Saturday morning breakfast, especially in Atlanta. All those places where you go, where you stand in line an hour or 2 trying to get breakfast, guess what? My chef just called me, texted me, and said, how about chicken and waffles, shrimp and grits, fresh fruit, mimosas. It's going to be at Breakfast with DryerBuzz. It's Saturday, October the 7th. It's from 8 to 10. We take over a local Atlanta salon, John Rick's Salon Wellness Spa. We'll be there downtown on P Street. I got big ambitions, and my heart is in it because I'm trying to be a whole person. And this is us coming back for a new season. So listen, today is the last day to get your $20 ticket. It's always $20 until the 20th. So go get your ticket, come to breakfast, feed your dream, bring the team, and dine on an amazing menu of mentors and have breakfast with us. And we're talking about our business plans, y'all. One of the things, Dan Flores just did a video the other day. What's happening with entrepreneurs, you got passion, you've got brilliance, you've got genius, but can you put it on paper? You're not going to get the money for what you're doing until you can put it on paper. And so we're going to show you guys how to do that. All right? All right, have a great day. This ain't that book club, but we got to go. Bye.